Hi, my name is Anna. I am an ICU travel nurse. I have been travel nursing since September of 2020, and I have worked mostly in Maryland and in California, but I have licenses in Colorado, Maryland, Washington, D.C., California, Oregon, and Washington State. This is about something that I hear people say all the time. Let me just tell you right now, the 50-mile rule does not exist. So when you speak to a recruiter for the first time, they may tell you something along the lines of, oh, well, you're going to get this tax-free stipend. As long as you're working 50 miles from your home, you are eligible for this tax-free stipend. Many people will just commute like an hour and a half to then go ahead and then they collect their tax-free stipend, which is dependent on the GSA, and you can go to like gsa.com, meals and incidentals, to see by county what you would qualify for as the maximum meals and incidentals allowance. That's a good reference point for everyone to be looking at. It's GSA meals and incidentals. I'll link it in the description down below so that you can make sure that you are getting the maximum tax-free stipend if you're eligible. But here's the thing, the 50-mile rule does not exist. To qualify for tax-free stipends, you are supposed to be duplicating your cost of living. I am not an accountant, I'm not a CPA. I recommend that everyone uses a CPA if you are a travel nurse. I will just say broadly that you do not qualify for the tax-free stipend unless you are duplicating your cost of living. And by duplicating your cost of living, I mean you need to be paying 2 rents or 2 mortgages or a mortgage and a rent or something like that, and have a bunch of other supporting documentation that shows that you actually live somewhere else. There's all these rules online. You can see that you're supposed to, like, you have to actually be there for like 21 days out of like 6 months or 12 months or something. Like you have to be physically present at that address for like a month out of the year. You have to be paying rent in 2 places, like electricity, gas bill, all of that good stuff. It's good to be able to show that you are registered to vote in that state, all of that stuff. So it's important to remember that travel nurse recruiters are not accountants, they are not CPAs, and they're just going with what their agency told them to tell you. They're really not supposed to give tax advice whatsoever. However, this is a very common rumor, and especially from new grad, or especially from new travel nurses. I will hear them say all the time something about the 50-mile rule. And just because a lot of people do it doesn't mean that it's smart. I'm just trying to like save you guys a hassle when it comes down to it. So you can't use your mom's address that you haven't lived at in 7 years and you don't have any documentation tying you to that address. Or if you do use that address, just know that you are playing games with the IRS, which I don't recommend. Keep it all above board, do things correctly, pay your taxes, file your taxes, use a CPA, use an accountant. I have heard from so many different travel nurses, they're like, oh, well, I am moving out of my apartment in Washington, D.C., and I'm not gonna pay rent anymore, and I'm just gonna use my mom's address as my tax home, and then I'm gonna go work as a travel nurse in California. Red flag. No, do not do that. Talk to a CPA before you do anything else, but you need to be duplicating your cost of living to qualify for the tax-free stipend. Now, can any assignment be like a local traveler? Yes, for the most part, unless you live in Texas where they have some weird laws about local travelers, all of this stuff. So I left my tax home in Maryland back in August, and I've been in California since. It's now January of 2022. And I have taken multiple different travel assignments that I am basically working as a local traveler. So anytime you see an assignment that is marked as a regular travel nurse assignment, ask for the agency to give you a pay package that is taxable, and then ask for them to send you both pay packages side by side so you can compare them. Every agency should be able to do this. Some travel agencies will kind of give you pushback and they don't want to do this, but they should be able to make your pay package all taxable. It will be a little bit lower, a couple $100s lower every single week, because the travel agency has to pay payroll taxes on your money if you don't get a tax-free stipend. So giving you a tax-free stipend is a way to save the travel agency money and to save you money on taxes if you qualify. But if you don't qualify, ask for a local traveler pay package or an all taxable pay package. Some facilities will not allow local travelers, and that is not the fault of the agency. It's just another question to ask because you're getting everything set up. So I haven't had any issues working as a local traveler in either Maryland or California. Your hourly taxable rate is just higher, and then you pay taxes on all of the money. And talk to your CPA before you ever sign contracts and make a plan and go from there. Now, I do know of people who have bought a home in another state, and then this is again where you need to be talking to a CPA and a financial planner. But you could hypothetically buy a house in like Arizona, and then you have to live there for like X number of months within a 24-month period for it to be classified as your residence. And then they rent it out to other travel nurses while they're away. But that, again, that's where you need to be talking to a CPA, and you need to be talking to your financial planner and make sure that you're doing everything correctly, because taxes are not a game that you want to be playing. You don't want to be playing games with your taxes. I don't want to be playing games with my taxes. So this is just like, spread the word. The 50-mile rule does not exist. That is not a thing. Dot your I's and cross your T's, and don't let people collect stipends that they're not eligible for. And I mean, I know of many people who do it. Is that a smart move if you don't get caught? But it's not something that I would ever recommend to people. So pay your taxes, ladies and gentlemen. Is this a little bit different? Let's say that you've like always lived from home and you like worked from home and then you like leave. Again, speak with a CPA, but that would be an exception to the rule. Like if your family's primary home like is your actual home and you've never moved out and you've been there forever and you're registered to vote and you have paperwork tying you to that address and all of that good stuff, you could like probably draft up an agreement between you and your parents that that is where you have lived. But again, like that would be like the only exception that I can think of. Pay your taxes. I hope that this was helpful. And please like and comment and subscribe and turn on the little bell thing for notifications for when I post new videos, and comment what you want me to talk about next. Thanks, guys.